Football questions for Coach?
Just how eager is this group after a long off season to face a real opponent, not just an opponent, but a top 10?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for our guys. I know they're sick of beating on each other, and you get to a point, you continue to add plays because everybody knows what you're running out there. So, just get the opportunity to play in, a fresh situation. We had the change of scenery getting into PBA the previous week was great for our guys as well, just to get them out of, Hendricks. We're very fortunate. We have one of the best practice facilities in the country, but just to get the opportunity to get into the arena and see it and, smell it, see the new scoreboard, the horn's different, just everything about being in there. And now we get to play. So, right into the fire. You get a top 10 team. I think I saw the preseason poll. BYU's 8th. I think that's too low for them with watching their personnel. And, I've known Kevin, and I think he does a terrific job coming off a great season. Saunders, first team all league a year ago. And, just a tough kid who can really shoot the ball. What they've added, obviously, with the Bansa, going to most likely be the number 1 pick in the draft next year, and just built a really good roster. I could go through the whole thing. They've put together really athletic, long, skilled roster that's going to give us a lot of challenges. And, listen, whatever happens on Saturday, we're going to learn from it, we're going to grow from it, and we're going to get better from it. And, we can't overreact on what happens out there on Saturday. Being the first time, you always learn a lot about yourselves. The first opportunity you get when you get up and down against another opponent, and just the challenges that they're going to face, giving us with their length and athleticism. It's going to be a really good first opportunity for us to get out there.
How would you compare them to maybe another Big Ten team, just from the style of play and the caliber?
Well, it's really, we haven't seen a lot. We exchanged a little bit of film, but we haven't seen them together play in a scrimmage type format. We were very basic on the film that we exchanged with BYU. So, really what we've seen is their personnel, and that's going to be as important as anything as we prepare for this one. And really it's more about us. And, for BYU, I'm sure you ask them, it's going to be more about them, continuing to get ready for the opener, which obviously is the most important thing. And, what I've seen is length, athleticism, shooting. They're the whole package. So, their ranking, like I said, it's very well deserved, and I think that team's going to be there at the end this year.
What do you hope to learn or just get out of this one?
Yeah, we're going to play probably more guys than we will in the opener. We're going to give a lot of guys an opportunity to get out there and see what they can do. And we've had guys step up. I've been really impressed with a couple guys that have really emerged going into this game. I'll tell you our starters. I'm going to start Jamarcus, Price, Cale, Burke, and Rienk. That'll be our starting group on Saturday afternoon, and we may start different against Midland. We probably will start different against Midland. We've got a lot of guys that have shown they deserve an opportunity to go out there and show what they can do and fight for rotation minutes. And there's a good chance we'll play 10, maybe 11 guys. Oogie will not play. He's still dealing with a little bit of a back issue. He's feeling a lot better. The plan is to hopefully get him back for the second exhibition game against Midland, get him out in more live situations next week. And then Jared's still working his way back into shape. Still haven't determined exactly what we're going to do with him on Saturday. These next 2 days will determine that, as far as what we do with Jared. But the good thing is he's getting a lot more comfortable out there. He's missed a lot of reps. But we're continuing to play catch-up with Jared, and he does a lot of things that we need out there with his athleticism.
Cale, he got the start. What has he done this offseason? I know he had the postseason.
Yeah.
What allowed him to be in the spot to be in the starting?
Yeah, he just, he organizes everything. I've loved what Cale has done for us. He's shooting the ball, knock on wood, really well right now. His numbers have been really good with that, and he just is always in the right spot. And then defensively, he got good size, length, physicality out there, and he's a guy that can play any spot on the floor. I know I've talked about that a lot with Cale. He can play really the 1 through 5. He's a very much utility player for this team, but he's earned it. He's earned his opportunity to get out there and start. We had the 4 that we were pretty sure were going to be out there as starters, and then the 5th one, again, we may rotate that in the next exhibition. But with the size that BYU has, we felt that was the right way to start.
You talked a lot about in the offseason the different point guard options you guys will have this year. What are you looking for just from that group?
Yeah, really just looking for guys to get us organized, and they're the head of the snake defensively as well. Got to get us organized on that end as well. But I've really tried to put a lot of responsibility on our point guards and get us into an offense. We're still not running a lot of sets. It's just more flow, really trying to teach them how to play. I don't know how many plays we'll call on Saturday. It's more seeing how we react when we get out there. It'll be a different defense than the way that we play on that end. So, we've practiced a little bit against it, not a lot. It's like I said, it's been more about us. We still got plenty to work on, but I just really want those guys to get us organized and recognize situations. If one of our players gets it going, we got to find a way to get them the ball within the flow of our offense. Obviously, having Rienk out there has helped in a big way with that, and our flow is just so much better with Rienk on the court. And, with some of the injuries that we have, BK will get an opportunity, play some 5. He gave us good minutes with that a lot of the year last season, and then Leo is, going to have to be ready to give us some minutes out there as well, just from a size standpoint.
When you think back to scheduling this, Fred, BYU's not a common opponent, so how did this come together?
Yeah, it was Luca. He called a bunch of different programs, and we just tried to get a really quality opponent that will be great for our fans to see that. I think there's 500 or 600 tickets left, so it's going to be a great crowd on Saturday. One thing I know it is fall break, so maybe missing some of our students, but should get a really good crowd in there, and hopefully we go out and play well and give them something to be excited about. But this was an opportunity for us to play a home game this year against a top team, and then next year we'll return the game to BYU in Provo. So just again, a really good opportunity to play this one. They changed the rules a little bit on this. Last year probably would have been a closed door behind the scenes scrimmage, but it's great to be able to get out in front of the fans. It's always a different feel. You can get rid of some of the butterflies that you're going to have going into the opener. And again, you're playing one of the top teams in the country.
You mentioned Leo. How big of an opportunity is it for him, Hugh, and even Braden too, just to see this type of competition right away?
Yeah, it's really good for all those guys. And again, you just see how much better these guys are getting already, and how much more comfortable they are with on both sides of the ball. And it's a hell of an adjustment for these freshmen coming in here, even the guys coming from different programs. The benefit Frager has is he's been in it. He's been in the system, and he's been in the locker room, so he's seen it. He's been on the bench. He traveled with us all last year, so he's ready. Probably the most excited guy to get out there is Braden Frager because of sitting out a year ago, and now the opportunity to go out there and be part of the rotation. There's going to be some butterflies. My big message to our team: this isn't a time to go out and try to do things that we haven't done for the last, whatever it is, when we started in June. This is opportunity to go out there, continue to do the same things. Don't play in a crowd. Make simple plays. Don't try to go out there and hit the home run and turn the ball over. We've had some issues with that at times when we over-penetrate, when we don't play off 2 feet. So there's a lot of things we're looking for that we've been doing for the last 2 or 3 months, and we don't need to go out there and do anything outside of what we've already done.
Is that a message you have to instill in Braden specifically, with just how much he's chomping at the bit?
Yeah. I've watched a lot of extra film with Braden in just one-on-one film sessions. Now that we've got the extra time, with the 20 hours, and just at times he does try to. He's got such a scorer's mentality. He'll miss the quick one more. We talk about 0.5 seconds to shoot it, drive it, or pass it. And at times, he gets it and he's just got his eyes on the rim, which is great. That's what his mentality is. It's what he's always done. He's a very aggressive guy that plays with a ton of force, but at times the right play is to make the simple one, to not take the extra dribble, to not cross over and play into a crowd. Those are things that we're watching, and he's getting better with those film sessions.
I'm sure there have been a lot of special mile markers for Rienk during his comeback, but will Saturday, when the crowd reacts to him, be especially so for you?
Yeah, and that's the other guy that I think has got such an unbelievable high amount of excitement going into this one for having to sit out. I know it crushed him last year not being able to be out there on the floor with the guys and helping, but he did such a good job and was so diligent with his rehab, and he had to be, or else he would have put himself in a really tough position for his future. This is the start of it, to get back out there. Again, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of nerves with Rienk. You guys can ask him about it here in a minute, but, he's just, he means so much to our team. And, whatever happens, it's been as we've seen Rienk get back on the floor, there's been stages to it. At first you could see it, his timing was off. He had a lot of rust with not being on the court for as long as he is, and this is a whole new chapter now to get back on the floor in a competitive environment against another team, and it's all part of the process for Rienk. So this is great. Whatever happens Saturday is going to be better in the following game, and then certainly better in the opener on the 3rd. But yeah, Rienk is really excited.
Going off of that, what do you remember just about your playing career, even your coach career, like when you returned to Indiana the first time, or when you returned to Iowa State for the first time, just what was going through your head and just trying to manage sort of the coming back sort of thing?
I'm sorry, so say that again.
Just with Rienk and even J-Law too, just what do you remember from your experiences in your playing career or coaching career of just going back to a place that you had been before or had, in that sort of thing, and just your emotions and things?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of emotions, and again, we'll see how we get off to a start. We actually scrimmaged in PBA on Friday. We had 3 days in a row where we shot the lights out, and then we get out there and neither team scored in the first media timeout. So, it's just, again, it's a different environment, a different vibe, and we're going to experience that on Saturday as well. So you have to keep, as excited as our guys are, they have to keep their emotions in check. And, Rienk, first opportunity to get back out there, he hadn't competed in over a year. And Jamarcus coming back here for the first time in front of the fans. I know how excited everybody is to see him back out there on the floor, but he's got to play within himself. So, all those things, and it's not just those two guys, it's everybody that goes out there. But yeah, there's a extra, I think, excitement level. I talked about Braden Rienk, but Jamarcus as well, getting back into PBA.
You alluded to this, but I guess what are the benefits or the thought process of doing this public instead of
Well, I hope, we go out there and play well. That would be a great benefit if that happens. But again, like I said, we're going to learn from this game. Whatever happens on Saturday, the 40 minutes that we're out there, we're going to become a better basketball team, whatever the outcome is. And the biggest reason we wanted to do it in front of the fans is it's when you're in there. Listen, we're not at Hendricks. When we go to BYU, we're not going to play in their practice facility. Here we're going to be in front of 15,000. When we play BYU, there's going to be 20,000 in the Marriott Center. And it gives you the opportunity to get out in front, and it's such a different feel. So, we had it the last couple of years when we played the in-state schools, but this gives us an opportunity to play against one of the best teams in the country in front of the fans. So we just felt it was the right thing to do.
From the time Rienk made the decision to have the surgery and sit out last year, were there any conversations between you and him with him considering other options, or were you pretty confident when he sat out that he'd be available for you guys and here at Nebraska? Yeah,
we hoped. Obviously anything can happen when you go through that type of procedure, and especially one where it's a full 12-month recovery. And listen, it was the right move for Rienk in his future, and that ultimately was what it came down to. Selfishly, yes, we could have used Rienk at times last year with that group. It would have been awesome to have him out there, but then we would have been looking for a starting center this year. So, there's a lot of things you look at, but ultimately what it came down to with Rienk is what is the best thing for your future and your playing career, and it was to have the procedure, sit out, rehab, get ready. Listen, Rienk is, when you tell him these are the 10 things you need to do, he's going to follow them to a T as much as anybody that I have ever coached. And he did that, and that's why he's in the position that he's in now.
But he was always all in on coming back to Nebraska for this year?
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
PBA going to feel different with that giant scoreboard this year, Fred?
It looks a little different, but once that ball goes up, it's not gonna be. Maybe I'll be able to see a replay a little better on the under. What's that called, Seamus? There you go. Yeah, the underbelly. So yeah, but it's phenomenal. They did an unbelievable job in that scoreboard. It's really cool.
New court too.
New court too. Got Herbie in the middle.
You like it?
I do like it. Yeah.
Anything else for Coach?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.